Hello, Twitterverse. Welcome back to hashtag AskDLT. I'm Matt Weldon, DLT Director. Here to take your questions about unemployment or anything else you want to ask. Remember, when you're on Twitter, we're going to announce every couple of weeks or more often maybe that we're going to have a question and answer session. We call it hashtag AskDLT. Use that hashtag, ask your questions, and I'll do my best to answer them. We have a handful of questions today. A couple of them are duplicates, so we're going to answer the question. Hopefully that gets you what you're looking for, and if not, then hopefully maybe next time we pick up on it, or you can get more information from our website at www.dlt.ri.gov, or maybe even through the Back to Work website, which is backtoworkri.com. All right, let's get going. So, first question. Does DLT check on work search records to make sure you're really looking? Okay, yes, we do. We check a different number every week. We've always done a routine check on these kind of things. Right now, we're focused on it, and every single week we send out a new batch where we ask people to verify their work search. So what does that mean? It means that you have to respond to the email we send or hard copy mail and provide your information within 10 days. We take a look at that information. If it all checks out and it seems like it's the right thing, then it just goes forward, no harm, no foul. That means that you won't be contacted again. All you have to do is keep certifying and requesting your payments and keep looking for work. If we think there's an issue or we need more information, we're going to contact you. That may result in us setting up what's called an adjudication appointment, which is a review of your claim where you'll be interviewed by one of my team members to ask about your work search. Here's the dirty little secret about work search. People don't seem to be taking it all that seriously. And so when we send out the requests, we're only getting about half of them back. If you don't respond, we will set up an adjudication appointment. If at that appointment you don't respond, your benefits will be shut off. Effectively, you'll be denied for not participating. You have an obligation to participate if we select you. If you don't respond to the first inquiry when we ask for your work search, and then you do respond to the second one to show up and defend your position, the defense really shouldn't be, I didn't get the email. If you got the email the second time, then you got the email the first time. So go ahead and check your spam, check your email. The dog didn't eat your homework. We're not trying to be difficult. We really want to be helpful, but this is a serious issue. It's a real thing. And the issue is you need to get back to work. Benefits end in a few weeks. That's it. And despite what people are talking about online, despite what some social media groups are saying, they're ending unless Congress extends them, which there is no indication that that's going to happen. The programs end. That means 75% or more of the current claimants won't have unemployment. And I don't know about you all, but I need to work every week. And so I expect that you're going to have to get a paycheck. And the way to do that is to get back to work. So again, it's not punitive. We're not trying to hurt anybody. We're just making sure that you're keeping up with your end of the bargain, and that is looking for work like you're supposed to be. Okay, next. Does TDI share the same processing department as UI? That's an interesting question. No, kind of. So it is one unit at DLT, or one division, but two separate parts, unemployment and TDI. And they have different systems, meaning IT systems or computer systems, but they're built off of the same technology. So are they the same? No, but can we tell if you are on TDI and you're applying for UI? Yes. Can we tell if you're on TDI and you're applying for UI? Yes. So it's not the same system, but there is some back and forth. I'm not sure what the question's about. If you want to ask again next time and elaborate a little bit, I can probably provide some more information. Okay. How do we verify our identity if online automated phone lines are malfunctioning? Okay, they're not malfunctioning. Let's get that settled right now. They're working, but the online verification tool can be difficult by design. It's meant to essentially protect someone's identity by asking them questions that only they should be able to answer. So if I were a fraudster and I may have your name and your social, but I may not know which city or town your sibling lives in, or some other question. I don't even know what the questions are, but something like that. You would know that information. If you can't pass that identity verification test, then you need to call. And unfortunately, we remain incredibly busy. We are working on a new way for those calls to get routed through, which I expect will happen within a couple of weeks, maybe 3 weeks, which will be much quicker. But in the meantime, go online and try it, and try it again. Try to make it work. And if you can't, then you have to call 415-6772, select the fraud option, and you can work with one of my team members. Okay. Do I need to ask for my claim to be backdated, or is it done automatically? Because your website says retroactive payments are processed automatically and that it may take some time. But so far it's been a few weeks and I haven't received any retroactive payments. At this point in the pandemic, I don't know who's applying and needs retroactive payments. That was something that happened earlier in the pandemic. It surely could happen now, but it's rarer than it was back then. And what I mean is we had set up programs and they were new and it took a little while to work it all out. And then there were periods of time that people needed to get payments, or somebody had been out and couldn't get through or didn't know how to file and they filed later. We're 16 months in. That's really not a case that's that common anymore. If you filed a claim and you're trying to backdate it, the federal government says you can only go back so far. And you're going to have to validate with my team why you didn't file it in a timely fashion. Why didn't you file it when you were separated from employment? And if you can do, so it's not an automatic back payment. Maybe it was automatic, meaning if you were entitled to it, we would have processed it automatically, but you have to be able to tell us why you were out of work, prove that you were connected to work. Unfortunately, a lot of people that I go in to look at the claims weren't connected to work before they applied for unemployment. And that's not something that should be done. And so we have to take a look at it. So I would say the best way to do it is to reach out to us. If you can't get through, try again. Try on Saturday. I say that every time, and yet the Saturday call numbers remain incredibly low. Try Saturday mornings, and we'll help you out. We'll get those paid right away. Okay. Do we have any other ones? Last one this week. You know, I'm going to challenge you. Ask more questions. We do a lot of things here at DLT. You know, unemployment and TDI are the big things that people know that we do, but workforce development, we help people with job training. We run a labor law enforcement unit that deals with wage and hour issues, meaning were people paid appropriately? Are there concerns about that? We do trade licensing. So if you know plumbers and electricians, we give them their license. Ask questions about any of those things if you want. This is like my favorite part of my week, answering these questions. And it gets me to think about things other than unemployment. In the meantime, let's focus on the last unemployment question. Why are you so personally gung-ho to end unemployment benefits when the pandemic is still raging? There are over 100,000 new cases daily nationwide. Hashtag get vaccinated now. I too think people should get vaccinated now. I want people to get vaccinated. Vaccines are available. We need this to happen because that's the only way that we're going to recover from this pandemic. Our economy is reopened. We need to keep it open. Let's get vaccinated. In no way am I against people collecting unemployment insurance. Unemployment insurance is an income support program that's temporary in nature, and it's meant to help people until they get their next job. That temporary program has run for 16 months with new programs and provisions through the pandemic. We all knew at some point they were going to end. In fact, more than half of the states in the country ended the federal programs, the extra 300, the pandemic unemployment, and the extensions on regular unemployment weeks or months ago. Rhode Island did not and would not end until they came to an end by the federal government. And that's because we recognize how important they are to working Rhode Islanders and Rhode Island working families. It's a big deal to get reconnected to the economy. That's why I've talked about it as much as I have. And I don't get a vote in Congress. And so I don't get to choose whether they get extended or not. I do try to advise the governor and talk about what we think we should do here in Rhode Island. And from the beginning, we've agreed that we need to help support Rhode Islanders. But the time to get back to work is now because these programs end in a few weeks. And I don't think people are taking that seriously. I'm concerned personally for all of them. I know that there is a lot of chatter online about this isn't real. The benefit programs aren't going to end. They're going to be extended, or you can just file and collect regular unemployment. Almost all of that is wrong, incorrect, false. Don't believe it. It's not true. This is a problem. If you're not going to be eligible for unemployment if you haven't worked. So once you separate from employment and you collect unemployment for a period of time and exhaust your claim, let's say you've collected from April, March, May, whatever, of 2020 until now. I'm glad the system has helped you and I'm glad you've gotten the support you've needed. But if you haven't returned to work and earned 80 times Rhode Island's minimum wage, which is $920 total, then you will not qualify for a new claim, period. no matter what somebody in an online group says, you won't qualify. So please heed this advice. Look for work. You don't have to take your next career move now. You don't have to look for the best opportunity. You have to get an opportunity. You need a bridge job at the very least. Get connected to employment so you keep having payroll checks come in to support you and your family. Because if not, after you certify for the week ending 9/4, there are no more payments. None, zero. That concerns me. So I am not against unemployment, but I'm going to be a straight shooter each and every time I talk to you. And I'm telling you right now, it ends in a few weeks. So please take it seriously, get reconnected to work, go to backtoworkroi.com, get a job, get it soon. Take care of yourself and your family. Until then, stay well, stay healthy, stay safe, get vaccinated if you're not. I'm Matt Weldon. I'll talk to you next time.